I've got some chainsaw maintenance to do tonight. I haven't done this in a long time, so I think this thing's going to be a disaster. This is a Stihl 260 that we have here. I've been using it for the last few years, and I do very little maintenance on it, to say the least. So this will be fun to see what this looks like here under the cover. So we're going to loosen these up first and take the cover off. And yeah, we got a fair amount of dirt built up in there. So I'll get to work cleaning this up and cleaning up in here. And then we'll move on. We're going to take off the bar and chain next. Okay, so this here screw in between the two cover nuts will loosen the chain. That should do it. Right. Now I'm going to take a few more minutes and clean up all in here. Here we have our cover that goes on here. We've cleaned out all the inside of that. We can set that aside. We're going to come back to the bar and chain last of all when we put it back together. Over here, this is our screw adjustment right there for tensioning the chain. And when you turn this here, it makes this here little nub move, and that's what tightens or loosens the chain around your sprocket here. There's a hole in here where oil can come out to oil your bar. I'm going to try to ensure that there's nothing in there. Next, we're going to get in here into the bearing that allows this here to turn. So there's a little clip here that we have to release, and we can do that with our chainsaw tool. If we wedge that in here, there we go. So that there is what holds this down. And then this little piece comes off here. And then this slides up and out. And here I've got stuff wrapped around the spline here. It looks like some kind of fibrous material. There we go. I don't know what in the hell got in there. Next, this cover slides right off. Now we'll clean all inside of here in a moment. Right here there's a bearing that goes over the shaft there, and we're going to take that out and clean it up and make sure we have that packed with grease again. Cover's clean. I've got this all cleaned up. I'm going to grease my bearing next. Like so. Wipe off the excess. Now our cover goes back on. This here piece slides back on. And we've got this here ring goes on, and then our clip goes back on to hold everything down. Spinning freely here again now. So that's it for this side. Next we're going to move on to the air filter. You can get a look at how dirty that is. The screw was so covered with dirt you couldn't even see it in there. go. There's the filter off. We're going to take a bit of time to clean that up. And all down in here, you can see a ton of dirt down in my machine here. This mess we have all in here, I don't want any of that to go in through the air hole there, so I'm going to have to tip it upside down to clean it, just to give an idea though. And there's a lot of buildup in here. So we'll do like this, and then we'll start wiping it all down from underneath. Okay, we can see the pile of dirt there. We got that cleaned up a lot better now. And I've just got this going in a bucket of soapy water. While we wait for our air filter to get cleaned up and dry, we're going to remove the top cover next. Using our tool here again for the chainsaw, we're going to loosen that screw. And then just lift this off. So we're just loosening up the cover on this side now. I want to clean this all up. And I got to keep that one aside because it's a little bit special shroud there that goes over it to hold the handle. Provided these are all the same length, they shouldn't matter where they go back in. That's what I want to see right away. And yeah, they appear to be the same. Let's check this one over here. Okay, yeah, so those three are the same, and now we should be able to get this up. And taking a look in there, I'm going to clean up all of that gunk that's in there, and man, it's packed full of stuff. Just look at that. So I'll be a while cleaning this cover out, and anything else I can get into here, we'll clean it all up and put it back together. Take one and drop it in there and rotate it. I can kind of get some of the stuff out from underneath this wheel here. Let's flip it up. You'll see this stuff that pours out. So now to get this back together, this cover just sits in here underneath the handle up here, the safety. And that looks to be in place. We'll start with this one again. That drops in here. That side's done. Turn it back over this way, and we'll put our air filter back on. I couldn't get the air filter very clean. I think I'm slated to get a new one by the look of this here, but for now we'll put it back in place and we'll give it a try. Just like that, it attaches back on. So we've got our air filter back in place. We'll put our top cover on next. It was the only spot that there wasn't a whole lot of dirt in my machine. It was in the top here. Okay, and then we've got to screw that down. Seems like everything can be done with your chainsaw tool. It's all straight blade screws, with the exception of this cover over here. You do need a specific tool for taking those out. Top cover's down. Now this cover here on the back slides in place over the air filter. So when putting this here back on, there's a little groove coming straight down. This little plastic piece here juts out, and there's a groove in here that slides down over top of that, and that'll position your cover, and then you just turn that, and now that's back on. And now we're back over to the bar side, so we're going to go over to our bar for a minute before we put it back on. And here's our bar. Now, I checked this over, and I've got a real bad spot right here. I don't know what happened, but it's like there's a chip out of the metal there. And so I probably should get a new bar, but for the time being, I'm just going to try to file it and get some of the rough edge off of there. It's not a very fine file. But you should take any burrs that you feel along there. You should get rid of them. And that goes a little bit beyond a burr, what I got going on here. So just cleaning up the bar right now. Before the chain goes back on, I just grabbed a piece of cardboard here, and I'm going to run down through here and make sure we've got all the dirt out of the bar. There you can see all that stuff coming up. See here where I marked this was the outside of the bar facing up, just like this. So now we want to rotate our bar this time around. We're going to flip it over. We're going to make sure that the cutting teeth on the top are facing forward. And then we're going to put our chain back on over this. We're ready to put the chain back on and the bar back onto the chainsaw. So we've already flipped our bar over. This is the side that was facing out earlier. Now this is going to be the side facing out, and our chain's going to go in this direction around. Our teeth therefore have to be facing forward. Just going to lay this here and get our teeth in place. Okay, I happen to find an elastic band laying around, so that might help us here. Just going to go up here and try and clamp it. Perfect. We want to ensure that our tensioner, the little nub here, lines up in the hole on the bar, just like that. And our chain comes around this sprocket and sits in the right spot. Okay, there it is there. So now I'm going to put some tension on this now to hold it in place. Okay, that should do. Cover's going to go back on. Here we're tightening our cover back down. A little bit of tension on those. Now we're going to get rid of our elastic band here. We want a little bit of pull that direction upwards on this. And then when we tighten it down, we want it tight enough that you can't see the teeth outside the bar here, but you want them to come up pretty high to the edge of the bar. Probably put a little more tension on that. Right there, I'd say we've got good tension now on the chain. Our bar's lined up well, and we can tighten these down. Now it's time to take it out and use it. Today's going to be the first day we start our chainsaw since I did my maintenance to it. and we picked a hell of a day. It's minus 15 Celsius out here, and we're about to do a cold start and see how it runs. I was having difficulties with it previously, I think because the air filter was so clogged it kept stalling out on me. So we're hoping that we fix that problem, and we're about to start it up and cut a few things down, see how it goes. When you're in the snow, it's nice having something as a base to put your chainsaw on to start it. So even the guard here for the blade works well. We set that down, put our chainsaw down on it. This cold, we better give it a minute to warm up. Seems to be cutting well. Hope you might have learned something. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.